Today on In the Wood Yard, we're going to talk about one of the most important things you're ever going to hear on this channel. I think this is gold. You should listen. This is a good one. Now, what I'm going to talk about has nothing to do with firewood, has nothing to do with trees or chainsaws or tractors or trucks or trailers or machines. It's talking about your mind. The most important thing you have for work. Anywhere, anytime, any place. I recently was watching a YouTube video that had nothing to do with firewood, which is what I generally watch. I watch stuff on YouTube about how I can learn how to be better at what I do, business stuff, things about how to do better YouTube, how to have a better channel, how to communicate better with information, how to be a better, more efficient worker, how to get things done, how to do things the right way. That's the stuff I watch. I don't watch hard. Everybody asks me all the time, well, what do you watch on YouTube? It has nothing to do with firewood. Occasionally I watch some hunting or some fishing stuff because I like to do that. But most of the time I'm trying to learn from other people. There's a lot of smart people and you can get a lot of really good, free, super valuable information on YouTube by watching people that have knowledge that is extremely valuable. I watch a lot of people, not going to name names because there's dozens of them, but there's a lot of things. Once you start watching some of this stuff, you'll get fed more of it, which is the way it works. So I heard something the other day. There was a young guy, I don't think he was even maybe in his mid-30s or so. He made a statement that was one of those, when I heard it, it was very profound. It's similar to some other things that I've heard, but the way he said it was simplistic, and it made a lot of sense to me because I believe these things and have for a very long time. This is what he said, and I wrote it down so I'd get it right here. You will get much further in production and life by being consistently reliable than being occasionally extraordinary. That's a big statement. Big statement. I'm going to kind of relate this to a whole bunch of other things. I think this is one of the most valuable things I've heard in a long time. Then he said this, you just have to show up every single day and you will be very hard to beat or kill in the long run. Meaning that the more you show up, the harder it's going to be for others to bring you down. And you won't have to worry about the competition. You won't have to worry about other things in life. You won't have to worry about someone else providing for you, the government, or your pension, or the company. It's on you. It's on you. So the first thing I thought of, well, the easiest way to explain this or compare this to something that everybody can relate to is professional athletes. Particular, I would have to say like bodybuilders, weightlifters. They don't just show up one day and put in 18 hours and all of a sudden they're big and strong. It's day after day after day after day of lifting the right way, the right techniques, the right sets, the right amount, the right everything, the right diet, the right stretching, the right amount of sleep, the right amount of supplements, all the things that it takes to get as good as they are. Any professional athlete, I shouldn't say any, there are some that are extremely talented that just show up. Those are rare. Most of the really good ones, the ones that are the best, work the hardest. Almost always. And that's true in almost any profession. I told my son a long time ago, my oldest son, I have my youngest son and my daughter, but my oldest son in particular, I told him, I said, you know, you can go work 40 hours a week and you're going to be average. Even if you work all 40 hours while you're there. The average person, I should say, only works about half the time they're at work. So there's that. But if you want to be extraordinary, the 40 hours and above is where you start to make gains on people. So every hour you spend working harder and smarter at the same time, a lot of people say, oh, just work smarter. No, you got to work harder too. And a lot of people say, oh, just work harder. No, you got to work smarter. You got to do both at the same time. And time is the big thing. More time, harder and smarter. More consistently, more times in a row, over a longer period of time. That's how you get places. You don't just show up and kind of put your time in, as we're finding out with a lot of the, this is probably offend some people, but a lot of the things that is being revealed now in the government, where there's a lot of government programs that no one works there, but yet there's a lot of money flowing into it. I hope that ends because I don't like giving money away. My money especially. Most professional athletes work extremely hard, doing everything they can to be the best at their game. And that's the attitude that you need to have with whatever you're doing in life. There was a speaker that I used to listen to all the time. Some of you may have heard of him. His name is Zig Ziglar. He had a statement that stuck in my mind for the last 30 years since I've heard this. And the statement is, it's not your aptitude that determines your altitude, it's your attitude. Got to get your mind right. You got to show up every day, be consistent, always be trying and striving to be better at what you do, working smarter, but working harder and being consistent. I read a lot of books. I shouldn't say a lot of books. I read occasionally, but the books I read have nothing to do with firewood, nothing to do with stuff that you would think that I would read. I read about business practices. I read about things that are going to help me be a better person, whether it's professionally or personally. One book is called Habits. Some of you may have seen it, heard about it. Habits are huge. And the statement that I'm going to read to you that I said about you're going to get much further in life by being consistently reliable than being occasionally extraordinary. It's a habit. You got to have habits. You got to show up and do the work every day. Now, a lot of people think, oh, you got all this wood. Boy, you must have worked really hard someday out here. No, I show up every day. And if I have a day where I'm gone, the next day I come back and I really give her. I don't produce hundreds of cords of wood in a day, but in a year I do. It's a matter of keeping at it. It's like the old saying that what's stronger, water or rock? Well, a lot of people would say the rock's stronger because it's solid and you can throw a rock into water and it'll just sink down and the water doesn't change the rock. But over time, with pressure, the water can cut that rock right in half. Be water, be pressure, be consistent. Show up every day. So there's a guy you guys all know. You've seen him here. He actually owns the place. Bert. I'm going to talk about Bert. So Bert's the kind of guy that I can relate to, and a lot of you probably can relate to. He's a lot like my brother Ken. He has his main job. He's a machinist. He makes above average machinist wages because he's very good at what he does. He works very hard. He goes into work every day he goes in at like 2 a.m., works till like noon every day. He puts his 40 hours a week in. Usually he's done early on Friday because he puts his time in. Now, he makes good money doing that, but on the side, he also does a whole bunch of other things. Number one, he does a side job with a family relative that has a business where they do production of a particular product, and he does a lot of work for them, assembling some things for their product. Now, he makes really good side money doing that, and he goes and he works after work for many hours doing that, certain times a year when they need him because he's very good at it, he's very fast at it, and he does really good doing that. So he does that besides his regular job. I don't know how many hours, but I know he does good at it. He also does tree jobs. They do tree removals, tree service jobs, him and Adam. And he works really hard at that to make extra side money. On top of that, he has his tote business. He's the tote king. He sources totes from different places, buys some, gets others for free, has contacts, knows where to go to get these things and helps out other people. And then he resells them. He does really good doing that. So he probably works his 40 hours during his regular job, but then he probably works another 40 hours on his side jobs. He's going to get somewhere because he's got that farmer mentality ingrained in him because he started working on a farm when he probably could, the day he got out of diapers. Actually, he's probably still in diapers. I don't know. Anyway, he worked very hard his whole life. So he's got that mindset. You just work. You just work. You find a smart way to do it, but work hard, be consistent, just keep at it. He'll do great in life because he's got that attitude, the mentality of just keep going. Now, I told my son when he was probably teenager, when he first got his first job, my oldest son, I told this to all three of my kids, but my oldest son in particular, I remember telling him 40 hours a week is what the average person works, but they don't actually work 40 hours. They show up and put in 40 hours. They might only work 20 hours, and like I said many times in our government, there's a lot of people that just show up. We're finding that out. And I don't care what you think politically. I want my money to be spent wisely, however they do it. I don't want to just give it away. So they're finding out all kinds of stuff. Now, and that brings up another person that I want to talk about. Whether you love them, hate them, politically, I don't care where you stand. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the right thing gets done. And this person has done a lot of right things, obviously. Number one, because he's extremely smart. Probably one of the smartest people there are. Whether you, like I said, whether you love him or hate him, I don't really care how you feel about him. But open up your mind and see what he's done in his life and what he's doing. Elon Musk. He was one of the starters of PayPal and one other company, I believe, from what I remember. He's got this little car company called Tesla, which is one of the biggest in the world now. They sell more electric cars than anybody else in the world, so he did that in a very short time. So there's that. He's got this boring company that does tunneling. No one else does that I know of. He's got this little rocket ship thing that has been going up and coming back, making money doing that. He happened to buy Twitter and fix that up a whole bunch because it was way overstaffed. They're down to like, I believe it's in the like teens, like 15 or 18% of their original employees, and it's more efficient now than ever. Interesting. But to get where he is didn't just happen. If you listen to some of the earlier interviews with him, he says, you wouldn't want to be me. He says, I sleep in my office and been doing it for years. He works 18, 20 hours a day at a time. And it's the consistency. It's the intelligence, it's the hard work, it's the focus. So like I've said many times, this wood didn't just jump into the bin by itself. It's the consistency of every day. You just keep moving forward. I don't come here and spend 18 hours processing wood. I mean, I do occasionally, but it's not like I do that once a month. I try to be here every day or every other day or at least 4 or 5 days in a row and then maybe do something else. It's a little bit that makes a big difference. You just keep going, keep going. Focus on the one thing that matters the most and do it. And for me, I love doing firewood, so it's easy to focus on it. I just enjoy being outside. I like making big pieces of wood into small pieces of wood. It's consistency of your effort and just staying on it all the time. That's what matters. So focus, show up, do the work, do it smarter and faster and better than anybody else, and you'll be just fine. We're gonna go load some wood and do a delivery. There it is, a beautiful load of oak. Red oak, and this stuff was just split, and well, cut and split with the processor a couple days ago, but it was the smaller wood that we got in this load of oak. And as we were processing it, we did take out the stuff that was wet and put it into a IBC tote. We got about a face cord of that, along with this load, which is a face cord, and there's about another face cord there. So that, and there was another 2 face cord load, so 2/3. So altogether, from what we processed just the other day, was about 5 face cords, or a full cord and 2/3. 1/3 of a full cord was the stuff that was wet that we thought was good, but when we split it, it was still wet in the center. So we put that into the basket, and then the rest of it we let go up the elevator and into here. Now I'm going to show you something. So the reason I dumped this on the ground here is I didn't really want to put it into a bin. And this is some of the trash that's left over. So there's some pieces in here that are still good, but I kind of picked up the majority of it, the good stuff, and put it in there. So there's going to be some debris that we'll clean up, but I didn't want to just dump this right into the bin as it was, because I know I'm going to be using it right away, which I did. And it worked out pretty good that way. So while I was loading it, I thought of something else that I should mention that comes up on my channel all the time, or guys that I know I talk to, and they make comments and they'll say something like, you know, I do a video once a month, or I do a video once a week, and that's all I have time for. Well, that's all you're making time for. People ask me, you know, how in the world do you do a video every day? Well, I just decide to. Like my good friend Dave says, just decide. Change. Change yourself, change your life, change your habits. Make the change, and you can do it. Now, I had no intention of having a video every day for 5 years in a row almost now. When I first started, I thought, well, I'll do it for like a month just to get some content built up, and then I'll cut it back to maybe 2 or 3 or 4 videos a week, or maybe twice a week, something like that. And I just kept going, and I thought, well, it's working. I can do this. I can keep this going. And a lot of people think I show up every day and I work all day long here and make a video. There's a lot of days where I shoot 2, 3, 4, even 5 videos in one day. And then I batch edit, and then I batch upload, and I batch make the thumbnails, and I batch do the descriptions and things like that. I do them in bunches, but I do it consistently pretty much every day. There's very few days I don't do something on YouTube. Most days it's 4, 6, 8 hours. Most days, every day. Some days I will put in 10, 12 hours on YouTube because it's a rainy, nasty, crappy day, and I just say, oh, you know, 2 days we're going to get a big snowstorm or a big, you know, rainstorm. I'm just going to plan that day, I'm going to do a whole bunch of editing and get it done. And then I can still have a life. I can still go do things. But being consistent is the way to be successful in anything you do, by showing up. There's a lot of guys that put 40 or 50 years of their life into their work, and it takes time to get to where you can actually get somewhere and either get ahead or make enough money that you can retire and take it easy. I've been retired since 1989, I like to say. When I left my employer where I worked and started my own business, I've done what I wanted to do every day, pretty much, for the last, what has it been, 30? The last 36 years, I've pretty much done what I wanted to do each day. I like what I do. I think I'm pretty good at it because I focus on getting better every day. I try to educate myself. I try to learn more. I try to do more. I try to be more. I try to be better. That's all it takes. Same as the YouTube channel. I watch things on how to do better videos, how to be a better editor, how to be a better speaker, how to present the topics more concisely and focused on the topic. I had a comment just recently. I was interviewing my brother about his tractor, and a guy says, how come you kept cutting your brother off? And I do that in interviews probably more than I should, but I'm not doing a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast. A lot of times when I'm making videos, I kind of mention the topic we want to talk about when I'm interviewing someone, and I try to focus the questions and focus what we're talking about on that topic and keep the flow going in that direction. A lot of people, and I'm guilty of this, my brother Ken is guilty of this because he was the one in the video, you tend to see something and you kind of go towards the shiny object and talk about that. Or you get off topic because it kind of relates but not really. So when I redirect questions, it's because I'm trying to stay focused on the topic. And some people are like, well, you didn't even let them talk. Well, it's because we agreed this is what we're going to talk about. The video's about this, not about that. It's about this. So I try to stay focused on the topic. And I apologize if it offends some of you, but I'm just trying to keep the videos concise and focused to what they're supposed to be. I find that the videos where I'm interviewing someone, if I can keep them 12, 15 minutes, seems to work out really good. If it starts being 20 minutes, a half an hour of just wandering generalities, it's not that interesting to most people. Unless we're just entertaining or goofing around or doing something fun. But if I'm going to create a video, it needs to be focused on a topic so that there's a reason for people to watch it, and there's a reason they keep watching it, because it's filled with information they want to know, and it's what they came for. There you go. We're going to go do a dump.